Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in here in a little bit more Chicago way. We're just getting through some of the other factions that exist for the game here and taking a look today at the Moonshiners. So another fun faction again, very similar rules-wise the game to Dead Man's Hand. Obviously same company, just some tweaks here to bring it up into the 20th century basically. And now a decent amount of factions too. I think we're approaching like 7 or 8 of those total. So quite a bit going on here, but we'll take a look at the Moonshiners and see how these minis stack up. So, and then we kind of get the full-on picture there, and they've obviously done some basing work as well. But as you might expect, sort of a little more rough and tumble. These guys aren't going to be as fancy as the cops or the gangsters or anything, certainly, but definitely can pack the firepower there. So we'll get these guys open up. We'll take a look at their rules card too, and we'll go from there. Alrighty, we're back. We got everything opened up here. So we've already done a faction review on them, but you always get the rules card for them, which is pretty simple to deal with, right? Most of the factions have anywhere from 1 to like 2 or 3 rules. Very easy to get into the game, very similar from Dead Man's Hand. So really neat one here. They have this called We're Survivors, and they're the Spades faction as well from the original 4. Any Moonshiner model taking a nerve test gets a +1 to the test for each friendly model within line of sight, which basically means they're going to do just fine with morale tests. If you can organize it depending on the layout of the game, right, we want to keep them or keep at least 1 or more models in line of sight just to help out with that. So we can really make it difficult for them to run basically or flee off the board and really not be affected by morale for the most part. And then finally, we don't lay down for nobody whenever one of your models suffers an under fire result. So 11 to 14 on the shooting table. The marker can be placed on any other friendly model within 10. So really almost, depending on how you spread the models out with each other and kind of approach the battle, you really can just kind of play the shell game and keep shuffling wounds around. So keeping some of your more important models in the fight longer potentially. So depending on, if you need somebody like a shotgun person or other like rifle or maybe even like your main, your boss or something like that, to be able to sort of shunt wounds around and then let them not be encumbered by that stuff can be very, very potent and make it frustrating for you to feel like if you're playing against them, like you're getting any progress done because they keep moving wounds around and stuff like that. Now the danger there is, of course, whatever model you're sort of putting out there to take the hits initially, or at least be in the line of fire, there's always the chance, of course, that the opponent rolls, higher, right? Like 15 to 18, or if they just roll an outright, hey, boom, you're dead, like a 19 or 20. Obviously, that's not going to work. But for a lot of the hits that are out there, this can be a nasty strategy. So then, looking at the models, lots and lots of flash, as is pretty typical with the metals here. So it'd be interesting to see if this game ever gets like a Kickstarter for some plastics. Would be, I think, a good next step for them. But a ton of cleanup work to do. This is going to be another one of those tough ones. The barrel was bent like 90 plus degrees down. And it's one or two where it always seems like the barrel is like clipped, like it's not fully cast or something like that. There's always like a little divot taken out from the bottom. So I have to be super, super careful with that. But detail-wise, everything is fine. They look as you would expect them to look, especially cover picture has a nice paint job of them here. This guy's got a suit of sorts, but he's also packing a sawed off. Again, mold lines and stuff to deal with as well, so always a bit of work to do in here. And then you got the female of the faction here, but she's got a rifle, I do believe, or if we wanted to treat it as a shotgun, I'm sure we could get away with that. But much simpler in attire. Oops. This guy, I think, is meant to be the boss. He's, as you can see, actually maybe not the boss then, but he's packing a shotgun, holding it by his side there, in case we were actually wondering what he's got. Again, tons of flash. These guys all look decidedly ragged. Not as fancy again as the gangsters with their all fancy suits here, but this guy here. Again, had to bend the pistol in place a little bit too. Detail could be a little crisper maybe on some of these. But again, this is original factions, so I'm not quite sure how long these have been out. New stuff looks really good though, like the Peaky Blinders, Coppers. Definitely a little touch up on detail on some of these, but this guy's pretty cool here with his overalls and the beard. So we got that, and then one more. And of course our MDF bases here. This guy's just tank top and a pistol. But yeah, there we go. That's the Moonshiners. So looking forward to getting these guys up and running here too. We should be getting through most of the factions here over the next month or so, paint-wise, and then hopefully real soon get you guys a battle report as well to feature the game. So let us know what you think of the Moonshiners. Be sure to like and subscribe. We'll have more Chicago Way soon, and we'll go from there. Thanks for watching.